Greetings, children. Hope you all are doing so well. I thought of making this video to give you certain important instructions for writing the psychology paper this year because there are certain changes and you should keep in mind those changes. Before I start with the psychology paper, there are certain general tips which I would like to give to all of you. Number one is that whichever pen you are using, it should be the blue pen and the ball pen because the sheets are going to be scanned, and the sheets can only be scanned in a better way if your sheets have the write up written in a darker format. So use a ball pen and a darker ball pen. Carry 2-3 more options of the ball pens. If the flow of the pen is not good at the center, you will need another pen, so keep a backup of that. Secondly, whichever diagrams you are making, you will make with a darker pencil, that is the darker HB pencil. Make sure that whichever diagram you have done, the diagram is made along with the answer, right? So that thing. And the third important thing is, if you are pasting anything, any sort of thing for any of the papers, this is not for psychology because in psychology we don't have a pasting part, but for any other paper, if you're pasting, paste it at the last where you don't have any write-up. So it should be on the sheet at the last where there is no write-up at the end of the sheet. Now let's come down to the psychology paper. In the psychology paper, we have different sections. The section A is of all the MCQs. Please make sure that when you write the MCQ, write the option. Suppose the question A says, when was the first lab made? So it has 4 options of different years. And your option is A. So write A, right? And then the answer. Whatever answer you think is the appropriate answer. Don't leave it either by writing the answer. Write A or whatever is the option and then write the answer. Secondly, when you're attempting the next question, suppose you're writing the long questions or the short questions, A part, B part, C part, D part. What I have been noticing in these few days is that children, while writing the answer, they are reminded of certain points and they want to go back to the answer and write the answer and write those points in that answer. When it was an offline checking, you were writing the answer and putting those few points will be at the end and the examiner would be able to see it. Now, since this sheet is going to be scanned in a PDF format, the answer marking is done at the same place. So if you write some part at another place, it would be very, very difficult. So the very main important suggestion for you is to read the question, attempt all the question parts together. Then understand this thing very nicely. If you have a sheet has a margin. The CBSE sheet has a margin. When you have a margin, you know that question 1, question 2. Please note down the question number, question 2 very smartly. And the part also mention it very clearly. Do not leave anything for assumption. Suppose your question continues on the next page. On the next page also, when you start writing, please again write continuation. Question 2 continued, right? And at the margin. If you have done like that, once you're writing, there are some children I have always found they would go to the last end of the sheet to write the answer. Right? That page ends at one corner, starts at one corner. One corner you have the questions and the other corner you please draw a margin or keep an imaginary line so that that margin, don't cross that margin and go towards the end of the sheet. कहने का मतलब है, try to stick at the middle part in such a way that you have a margin on this side and a margin on this side. The left and the right side margins are left so that your content is nicely placed in the center. Now, another point which I was thinking, that when you leave something and you're reminded at some point of time in the paper, because that inside learning comes from in between, and then you're reminded of, oh, I need to write this point, I was not able to write it, and then you run short of place. Then what are you going to do? Therefore, suppose you have finished the part A, you have started with the part B. Part B has 2 mark questions. Write question, leave 2 lines. Write another question, leave 2 lines. So those 2 lines will be the buffer. Number 1, buffer to segregate the answer. Number 2, buffer to give you that space in case you forget, and while revising you are reminded of putting down some important point. Okay? So please make sure that you are writing the answer at one particular place. Suppose it is question 19, there's a part. So answer 19A, answer 19B. Okay? So please mention the answer numbers point wise and as per part wise. Then comes the 6 marker questions, the 4 marker questions and the 6 marker questions. Please make sure you start with an introductory line, right? That is the introduction. Then whatever the question is asking, suppose the question is not saying A, B or C part, but there is a question, then a question mark, then the question continues again, a question mark, and the question continues again, a question mark. So suppose for that question there are 3 parts to it, but they have not been identified as part A, B and C. You will divide in paragraphs. First question 1 para, second question another para, third question another para. Okay? So you are doing it that way, and then write the concluding line. So the introductory line, the main body of the answer, and then the concluding line. And wherever you find the diagram is necessary, your information can be represented by an illustration or a flow diagram. You definitely have to do it, especially for 4 marker questions and for 6 marker questions. Keep in your mind that you have to spend, definitely you have to spend some time on making those illustrations. They are very, very important for your marking. And this is for psychology, not for any other paper. Please do not keep in your mind that you can generalize these for other subjects also. So it is only for the psychology paper. And it applies to the home science paper also. So the children who are listening for home science will also do the same for the home science paper. Now, a common mistake which I have been monitoring this time in the board papers was that children in a haste, in a hurry, they're filling the wrong circles. So the best thing is when you write the day and the date, the examination, the subject, and and the medium of answering and the question paper code, that is very clear. You write it and that's done. But on the other side, you have the name and the center number, then the subject code, then you have your roll number. So these are those things which you write in alphabets, in numerals, and then you fill the circles because that is the OMR sheet. So a simple trick I'm telling you, it will help you and you will not land up in any mistakes. You write your name, suppose your name is Shubham Sharma. So you write Shubham in caps in those blocks, leave one space and then write Sharma. Then you have to fill the OMR sheet. How will you fill it? S, H, U, B, these alphabets you will finding out. Do not just start quickly, making it dark. Jaldi khatam kar lo, jaldi khatam kar lo. You have 15 minutes for filling the main particulars of the sheet. You write S, suppose you have written S, find out S, put a dot. H, put a dot. U, put a dot. Right? So similarly, you put first all the dots. Then you go to the roll number, whatever 26663, whatever is your roll number. Then again 2 pehle, 6 pehle, 3 pehle, 4, whatever is it. Okay? Then the subject code, you would be knowing it. If you do not remember your subject code, तुम्हें याद नहीं करना है. That subject code is written in your admit card. Every information is there in your admit card. You can just copy the information from your admit card and write it down. Okay? So again you put a dot and then again you have the center number. Again the center number is on your sheet. On your admit card, so you can copy it from there. Okay? So please be very careful. Once you have filled the dots, cross check it once more and then start filling it in the darker one. Nobody will use the pencil to fill those OMR sheet because it has to be scanned. It has to be in the blue ball pen only. I hope this information is useful to you. Please revise properly, fill in the information properly. Reach the center on time, eat good food, have a good sleep. If you have not slept for a good number of hours before the paper, you will be very, very tired and drowsy. And your brain will not be activated to process. And we all know that when our brain is in stress, we are not able to understand it. So the panic attacks will very frequently happen. So in order to avoid it, please go to bed on time, get up on time, reach the center on time, start the paper on time, and you will definitely finish it on time. Right? My blessings for all of you always. I know you all will do a very good paper. I hope these small tips is going to help you in the long run. So, good luck, all of you.